As most of you know, Channing Tatum is coming to the big screen in October of 2016, but he'll have to do it without his director, Rupert Wyatt. Wyatt, who directed such films as Rise of the Planet of the Apes and The Gambler, came on the project back in June, but according to a report in Variety, a script change caused the budget to escalate and increase the shooting time required for the film. Then the start of production was pushed back from this November to early 2016, which prompted Wyatt to say the following. I was very much looking forward to working with my friend Channing and the team at Fox, but regrettably, a push in the start date now conflicts with another project. I thank them for the opportunity, and I know that Gambit will make a terrific film. John, should fans be concerned over the departure of Rupert Wyatt?
No, absolutely not. Should we regret the departure of Rupert Wyatt? Yeah, sure. He's a great director. I was really looking forward. I was excited to hear that he was on Gambit. And I had a bunch of people tweeting me this morning saying things like, oh, the production of Gambit's in trouble. There are problems. No, they did a script rewrite, totally normal. It increased the scope of the film, which we should be excited about, which was going to make it a bigger budget of a film, which we should be excited about. And they had to move the start date. And because of the shift in start date, remember, these Hollywood guys, be they actors or directors, whatever, a lot of these guys, they have their schedules down to the day about when they have to get off this project, start on this one, all that kind of stuff. And when you take a big major project like Gambit and you move it 3-4 months, that is inevitably going to conflict with something else. And so unfortunately, Rupert had to step off. It's really unfortunate. But like we just talked about the Steve Jobs trailer, David Fincher was going to direct Jobs. And now we got Academy Award winner Danny Boyle directing it. Everybody's raving about the film now. So this won't hurt the film. So should we be concerned? Absolutely not. There's nothing to see here. Is it unfortunate that we're losing a director of that caliber? Absolutely it is, but let's see who comes on next. Mark, what do you think?
There is some tea leaf reading you can do with this, though. I mean, first of all, you shouldn't be panicked if you're a Gambit fan, because there is a precedent, even within the comic book film universe, when Ant-Man came out and we lost Edgar Wright. We're like, oh, God, this movie's going to be a disaster. It ended up being awesome. So you can make a good movie just because the director leaves. But with 20th Century Fox, recently, that last comic book movie they made had a lot of problems with the director they chose to hire. So somebody who's a higher profile name like Rupert Wyatt leaving the project, it totally makes sense that they pushed back the schedule and it couldn't jive with his calendar. But if you're also talking about making a bigger budget or making script changes, and then Fox brings in, the key is, who do you bring in? It's not that Rupert Wyatt's leaving the project, it's who do you bring in? He worked on Rise of the Planet of the Apes. When they made the sequel to that, he wasn't able to do it. But who did they bring in? They ended up making a great movie. So if you can do that again, I think I'm still on board for Gambit.
I've got a suggestion for you guys. Why don't you bring in Brett Ratner? Because then you do that with X-Men Last Stand. You pushed off Matthew Vaughn. You got that dude. The Rat came in and rocked out The Last Stand. He might be available to kick it. I know you guys have scheduling conflicts
The
and
Rat
stuff.
came in.
Yeah, that's his company's Rat Pack. He can rock
Rat Pack or something like that. His name of his production company.
So, you know what? I mean, this happens all the time. You're right. Is there something more to it? Probably. But it's also, you know, I'd say it's 98% true, 2% like, what? You know, desks getting thrown. But that happens with all these kinds of productions. You know, there's always, when you push something even 1 month and a director or an actor or a writer or a producer is supposed to be like, I'm supposed to be on this other project, they usually try to make it work. But this sounds like November, December, January, push
at least
3 months. That can ruin somebody's, you know, next 3 projects. So it makes sense to me.
And I think it goes back to what you were saying about, you know, a lot of this, how we evaluate this event is going to be based on who then comes in to replace him.
Right.
Because if a Matthew Vaughn, for instance, who Fox has worked with many times, comes on board, we're all going to go, oh, okay, no problem. If it's like Tim Story, who Fox has worked with, comes in, we're all going to go, oh.
Hey, he's got a lot of, you know, he's done a lot of these superhero movies, John. I don't know why you'd be so worried about it. Hey.